All right. How are we doing, my little beauties? And welcome to this live stream with me, David. What do you think of the hair? I cut it myself. With me, David Connolly, the web developer extraordinaire. Already I can see the great Mark Knopfler. Let me get that right. Is joining us. Welcome to you. And I can also see that my lights are a little bit on the bright side. Now, I'm only going to be here for a couple of hours because it's the summer. And I need a summer holiday, you know. So I'm going to go a day trip to the zoo. And that'll be my summer holiday. Yeah, it's tough old life, you know. This web development gig. Tough life for sure. How is everybody doing? What if Steve Jobs was in charge of PHP? Oh yeah, what if Steve Jobs was... Yeah, I certainly nailed that one. Yeah. I was right, and PHP has become a management by committee nightmare, unfortunately, and it's terrible news. The only long-term hope for PHP is if somebody writes a new engine that is focused on stability. I wonder if there's anyone we know who could do such a thing. Excuse me, I'm keep doing this. I've got these strange itchy things going on. I see we have a message from Shirisha on Skype there. I should tell him that we're streaming, but let me just set my stuff up. I'm sure he'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to be working on this never-ending, very miserable CMS for about 2 hours. And I have to confess, I am feeling a little bit miserable about this whole thing. It has just gone on and on and on. And quite frankly, I feel as if I've bit off more than I can chew with this thing, you know. But what can you do? You know, it's almost there. So we may as well just go on, you know. Now, the current state of play is... I did a really cool demo, I think, a few weeks ago that went well. And I've got a lot of nice features here, but there's a lot of little things that aren't quite right, you know, like the alignment of these buttons here. Do you see how we're losing spaces? Things like that. But we do have a lot of things that are really good. For example, we've now got the ability to add images onto the page and stuff like that. I mean, this is a beautiful image uploader here, if I do say so myself. Oh, did you see what just happened there? That was an error. Did you see that? I need to see how that's stained yellow. That should not happen. So let me do that again, see if I can repeat that. That was definitely not meant to happen there. Okay, interesting. So, alright, as slowly as can be. I'm going to click. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go here. And I think it was this cancel button I hit. I've got these terrible itchy things. I think I've got some skin condition. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm just out of the shower, and something about hot water makes me itchy lately. Isn't that the strangest thing? Anyway, we've got this TGP close and destroy modal. It must be something to do with this. So I'll have a quick look and we'll just quickly get this one nailed. It shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. So here it is here on line 171. So it's TGP, close and destroy. Here it is here. Now, what I'll do is, we're dealing with JavaScript here. So I'm just going to console.log should close modal. And then I'll just hit return. Okay. So chuck the console thing on. Refresh. And have a little click here, have a little click here. We'll do something like that, and then you'll notice I'm keeping an eye on the bottom left hand side as we hit cancel, and you can see that it says true. So it's saying here if should close modal, then closes the module. And then if type of target module is a string, we find it. And then you can see that we're removing, right? Okay. So what we want to do is a sort of reset when that thing has done whatever it's going to do. So I'm going to Nah, it's not going to work either. Tell you what, here's what we'll do. Let's see if we can get whatever the class is that's highlighting that thing. So we're looking for what's called the active element. Now hold on a minute. I think it's going to be in here. So where it says page content, there you go. So it's this active element highlight thing. Alright, so basically I want to just remove that. Now let me see if we can find this. There you go. So I've got a little function for this. Now actually, maybe we can just search for that function and it will give us an idea of how it gets used. So okay, I think that will do. Alright. Okay, so I reckon that's going to take care of it. Alright, so here we go. We're going to refresh. So I'm doing this and I'm clicking image. I'm doing this. You can see that, oh, the thing is no longer highlighted. Well, isn't that fantastic? Right. I have another idea. Right. What I'm going to do is I want to look for every single example of where this thing gets called. So we've got a few, couple here, couple here, true. Now, right, I'm looking through these. Every single one of these is passing through in, which means it's kind of pointless even having that. So what we're going to do is something remarkable. Let's make it okay. I'm just going to figure out what we've got here. Modal footer, close and destroy modal. 1. Now hold on. I'm just figuring out where this thing gets used. Okay, so this is a cancel button. So you delete page, you hit cancel, you can see that it's saying true there. Alright, so we can leave that. Now here's 115. Another one of these. So it's another cancel button and it's saying true. One, 2, 7. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. let's change the way that this function works here. So this is on line 171. And you see how that says should close modal? I'm going to just say, give me a minute, taking this watch off. Let's change this. Let's make it init reset. Okay, and let's move this. I think we're always going to close the modal thing anyway, but let's just say okay, if init reset, then maybe we'll have this up here. Close modal, and then well, actually, let's do that. Alright, and then if init reset, we'll get the thing from this button manager. This does pretty much a complete reset, you know. So we could do something like that, and I think that that makes a bit more sense. So if we click in here, go like this, go like this, now I'm going to comment this out. So you can see it's highlighted there, but I'll do a little here we go. Okay, so here it is. Now you can see it's saying here we go all over the place there. See that? So right, I'm gonna have to find out what it is that's making this thing appear. So we've got add page element inner. Okay. Right, now I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, hang on, I'm gonna have to kind of follow the breadcrumb trail here, you know. Right. Can I just search for something for a minute? Alright, so one of the things I want to do with this thing is I want all of the function names to start with TGP. Trongate pages, you know. I'm just trying to make these function names unique so that we reduce the possibility of, well, something going wrong, you know. So I'm going to replace all of those function names site-wide like this. Okay, now I'm going to find that function that we had there, which is now called this, and here it is here. Okay, so we're getting the selected range, we're doing a reset, then we run this TGP add element thing. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so TGP add element, element adder manager, image manager, element adder, right, it's this one here. TGP add element, TGP add, was it add page element? I think it was. Now we had image, so we said TGP open image manager. All right, so here's TGP open image manager. Now this is, I don't know, open TG media manager rather. Now, there you go. Do you see how this says close and destroy modal? True. This is one of these rare instances where I'm going to say false. So now, if I go like that, choose an image. You miserable why on earth? Why on earth? Okay, so we've highlighted it, right? Now, let me... I'm really trying to figure out where this is coming from. Well, there's a miserable start to the day. Right, okay. It's time for a little bit of caveman coding to solve this. Right. So we've got this thing called init reset, and TGP close and destroy module. Right, okay. Now I had something that said here we go a minute ago. There it is. Okay, right, okay. So I'm going to go like this. We'll do a little bunch of stars here, and we'll console.log running TGP that. So we've now got that, and then we'll say init reset is true, and then let's do a little bunch of dots here. Okay, so all we have to do now is find the places. This is caveman coding. The idea is we find the places where it gets called. There's 16. Right, geez, right, it's probably not there. It's probably not there. It could be there. So we're going to say console.log check A. Yep, told you it was caveman coding. And then we've got one at 121. Could be that. Maybe not. TGP 127. Here it is here. So here we're going to console.log check B. All right. Okay, let's take a wild guess with this. See what we got. Hang on. Oh, man. Anyway, we have a few folks in the room. How we doing? Stefan is here. Where have you been, Stefan? It's we missed you, man. You disappeared on us. Very good to see you. We have the great Giro there from up there in Iceland joining us as well. How are you doing? Everybody having a good day? All right. So let's see if we can figure out what's happening here. Now look at that. It says check B. Do you see that? See how it says check B? So it says check B, then it does its stuff, and then blah, 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 blah. So that means that check B could be causing us a little challenge. So it's on this build custom modal thing. Therefore, let's change this to false and see if that fixes the issue. Okay, here we go. So I'm doing that. Now I want it to be highlighted. It's not highlighted. Okay, fine. Oh, gee. Okay, this, not that I'm wanting to make excuses, but this mouse is garbage. Well, I don't know if it's the mouse, but lately, maybe it's the table, I don't know. But lately they've been a bit duff. Now, if I don't have this fixed in 5 minutes, I'm calling in reinforcements. You will see what that means. Okay, here we go. Init reset. So let me comment this out. Right, you can see it's highlighted there, and you can see that check B is working, and okay, that's kind of cool. Now let me just console.log init reset is, we're going to say init reset. You know, I'm heading off to the zoo. Yeah, I know. But I'm really dreading it because I've got a feeling there's going to be all, you know, woke bullshit everywhere, clown flags and all of that. And I just hope there's not, you know. I really hope there's not. But you never know. Alright, so this is saying init reset is false. Now, I commented this thing out here. Why did I say is true? Okay, see if we uncomment this. Go like this. So okay, so that's saying init reset is false. So as crazy as it sounds, is that all we have to do? I do believe it. I do believe it's true. Alright, let me find the wee check B thing. Check B. Now, I'm kind of, I'm kind of taking a wild guess here, but I reckon that that's where the issue's happening. I reckon it's around about here. So if I change this to no. Okay, I give up. I'm calling in reinforcements, folks. I'm afraid we do have to call in reinforcements. And it's not something that I like doing, especially on a Saturday. But, you know, we developers, we need these little fallbacks in life. And that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to have to just call in reinforcements, and that is, well, it's just your lot, you know. So, let me leave you with a little bit of music for a minute. And I'll be right back. And when I come back, an incredible transformation will have occurred. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so that takes care of that problem. Anyway, an amazing thing happened the other day. An amazing thing happened the other day, you know. I found a Christmas card from my mum. And, let me show you. Still has money in it. 20 quid. How cool is that? Yes, indeed. It's showtime at the Apollo. So I was well chuffed with that. And hopefully I'll do something good with it. I might actually keep it. I'm kind of sentimental that way, you know. Anyway, sometimes, and it doesn't happen much, but sometimes you just have a slow day or things don't work. And when that happens, you don't freak out. Take a little time out, grab a little black coffee. And what I always say is smile and look up to the left and smile and look up to the right, and everything will be fine. So that's exactly what we're doing. I'm also going to open up source tree here, and I'm tempted to just see if there's any possibility of rolling back, you know. Let's have a wee look. Okay, let's see what we've done. No, I'm kind of happy with the work I've done, so I'm not going to roll back. I'm going to just move forward, and with great style, I'm going to get this happening. Okay, and Brand Tube is here. Brand Tube. Is that right? Yeah. Alright, well, it's Ahoy to you. Welcome. It's always nice to see a new name here. Okay, well, isn't this a very miserable day? Let's just figure out very clearly what the problem is, okay? Expectation of success. Smiling. So I'm doing this. Right, I want the background area here to be highlighted, right? So okay, so I'm going to look for this little beauty. This mouse here is giving me problems. I don't know why. I'm a wee bit slow, you know. Okay. Now, let me comment this thing out. Refresh. Do this. And I can see that that's highlighted in the background, right? That's good. It's kind of difficult to see, but it really and truly is highlighted. So if I hit escape, that's beautiful, right? It clears. But if I hit cancel, it does not clear. So the question is, what is it that's making escape work and cancel does not work? Well, let's do a little search for escape with an uppercase E. We'll make it case sensitive. We'll have a wee look at that. Okay, so you can see that escape, when I hit the escape key, it runs this. So this little beauty is going to get rid of that highlighted element thing, which is good. However, when we hit this, or when we invoke this TGP close and destroy modal thing, well, I'm going to hit return here. And let's just have a closer look at it, keeping an eye on the console.log. Now, if I do this, we've got the thing highlighted in the background. If we hit cancel, you can see that that's saying init reset is true. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to say true vibe, ahoy. I've got a little if statement here, right? So we'll save this. Hard reloading all the way. Now that highlight thing has gone, and you can see that if I hit cancel, yeah, so it's saying init reset is true all the way there. Now that is on check B that this is being called. I think we're not too far from getting this. I'm going to look for check B. That's not it. Okay. So console.log check B. Right. Okay, now 128. Okay, so around about here, I'm gonna say false. Then save. So if we refresh, and I'm desperately hoping that that background will be highlighted in the background, and it's not. Can you believe it? Now, do you see how it says init reset is false there? But there's one here. Look. So this is being called somewhere else. It is our job to figure out where. Or mine. Okay. I've given up using my mouse, so I'm using my little thing on the keyboard here, because the mouse is just not happening for me. So I'm looking for every single instance where this thing is called. And I'm finding it could be here. Right, let's have a little console.log check C. I don't think we've done a check C yet. So we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. Now, as we look up, it's not that one. Let's do a little console.log check D. Do we have it? Attempt activate toolbars. Is that maybe where it's coming from? I don't know. I do not know. Okay, plan B. plan B is happening. Here's plan B. All right. Plan B is we change the default vibe for these from true to false. So we'll kind of go the opposite direction. Now I'm going to just close all of these little beauties. Okay. So across this entire site, I'm going to make all of these things have a default vibe of false. Maybe this will help. Alright, so we'll get false, 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 false. I've got a little number 1 there that I'll do just now. 82. Okay. So back over here, false, 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 falsity, false, everywhere, false, false, false. Now there's one that says true. Okay. Right, so there's false, 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 false. Gee. Okay. Keep on looking. So we're seeing loads of falsies everywhere. I think that's it. Okay, so I've just made false the vibe that kicks off with this thing. So when we do that, and that, you can see that it's highlighted, and that's pretty darn cool, right? So as we hit cancel, it's still there. But as we hit escape, it disappears. Okay, so this is definitely the right track we're on here. If we look at this cancel button here, okay. So what's happening there is we've built a modal, and the modal has an IP of TGP Media Manager. Here it is here. Now I'm going to look for the cancel button, and I'm going to chuck a little letter X on it. The reason why is to confirm if it's the right thing that I've got. And there it is. Do you see how we've got a wee letter X here? So now that we've got that, I'm going to change this thing to true. We'll save and refresh. So we're going to go like this. Now I'm going to hit cancel. And there you go. Thank you very much. The error is solved. That was horrendous. Oh, what a miserable start to the day. But at least we got it. That was pretty embarrassing. Okay, now get rid of those useless check statements that we added. I think that's it. Cool. So now it's time we'll do a little commit, and then finally we can hopefully start this live stream here, you know. Tony is here. Good to see you back on the CMS. Yeah, man, Tony, it has just gone on and on and on. I'm quite embarrassed with how long I've taken with this thing. I'm usually much faster, you know. But we're nearly there. And I'm going to just quickly say fixed highlighted background sticking when cancel was pressed. Yeah, so we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Okay, nice. All right. Now let's get back to the task at hand here. We're dealing with the business. Actually, we're dealing with image properties here. So when we click on one of these, we want to click this, and we're going to have a little properties window appears. Now I've already built a prototype which I can show you, and it's really quite cool actually. The prototype looks like this. So the idea is we have an image. Okay, here's an image. Now I'm going to click on the image, and that is not what we want. Hang on. It's let's see here. I'll go with this. Okay. So when we click on this, do you see how we've got a properties button here? And this is what we're looking for. A nice little pop-up that says edit image or image properties or something like that, you know. Now, that's what we're going to do next. So, if we head into this page here. So we're clicking and we've got our properties button here, right? Now let's have a look at this. So you can see that it says the word properties, and probably the best thing to do is just search for that as a start point. There's quite a lot of JavaScript in here, but we've been quite lucky because properties is an unusual word, you know. Now as you can see, we've got an event listener here, and when that event listener gets clicked, it's running this little beauty here. So let's see what this thing does. Okay, now it looks as if we're getting this far here, and basically it's it's saying if you've got a code view button, click it. That's all that's saying. So in other words, if we go like this, right, then we go like this, do you see? It's basically clicking the code button. That's all that's doing there. Now if I comment this out just to prove it, and then we do the same thing again, do you see how it's not working? So we need this vibe, and I'll leave a wee comment for future reference. I'll just say make sure the code is closed, right? Okay, so we've got that. Now, by the way, we're going to have a little survey of the day here. The question I have is, in JavaScript, do you prefer indents to have, now we'll do this, 2 spaces, we'll have 3, and 4. Let me know what you think, because it helps me to hopefully format this in a way that's useful for you, you know. All that is happening is for you. That's right. Everything we do, I do it for you. Who sang that? Was it Bryan Adams? Brian May. Brian May sang Everything We Do Is Driven By You. Bryan Adams sang the other one. Yeah. Alright. Now, let's see what this is doing. And if ever there was a time when I wish I had left comments, this is it. Now, there's a video on YouTube somewhere with Uncle Bob, and I've seen a few other people. They do lectures in which they say don't leave comments. I mean, that's the essence of it. And they'll say your code should be so clear that you don't need comments. So for example, they might say something like, I don't even know what any of this is doing, but let's suppose you do a comment that says something like insert adjacent element or something like that. They would say, well, of course you're inserting, look at the code, why bother, this is stupid. Those people are wrong. They are wrong, ladies and gentlemen, because unlike the web developer extraordinaire, those code police have not written 10% of the code that me and most of you have written. We have people on board who've been doing this for 20 odd years, and not lecturing, I mean doing this stuff. And when you code for 15-20 hours a day, comments are gold, you know. And I've said it before, sometimes even an obvious comment is good because it gives you focus, you know. So I really do disagree with the so-called experts here. And I say chuck down as many comments as you can, you know, because I haven't got a clue what's going on here. So in any event, let's see if we can figure out what this is doing. It looks like it's adding a thing called TG, Temp Invisible Wrap, and I don't like that at all. I'm going to rename it to TGP. Really and truly though, I have no idea what it's doing. But we'll keep on going. So it's adding a thing called Temp Invisible Wrap to the modal body. Does anybody know what that even does? I have no clue. So let's hit return and we'll give this another little try. Hit properties. Okay, now it said that it added a class of Temp Invisible Wrap to this, and there it is. Now what I'm really interested to know is why and to what end. So let's go into CSS here and we'll search for this. Why would you do that? it sets it to none. Why would I do something like that instead of right, I'll tell you what, I know exactly what's going on. Do you see how this is really confusing? Watch this. Suppose we search for this temp invisible wrap and we rename it to hide element. Look at the magic, folks. Look at the magic. Something as simple as renaming suddenly brings it to life. Now we know what it does, right? So what does it do? And we'll chuck a little comment in this time. Hide the existing modal content. To anyone who says that's obvious, well, you just watched somebody being really confused for a few minutes. I'm telling you, man, comments are good. Don't listen to people who say, I don't do comments. Do as many comments as you want. And there's Tony Green. He knows what he's talking about. And he agrees. As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a bad comment. Unless it's a copyright statement. Do you know the CodeIgniter framework? It got taken over by the University of British Columbia. And the first thing that they did was they added over 3,000 copyright notices to the framework. Every single file, copyright, British University, copyright. That was the first thing they did. The second thing they did is they never updated the framework or the homepage for 7 years. Anyway, what can you do? So, but none of us are going to do anything like that, right? So comments are good. Now you can see we've got this thing here that says second modal body. I do not like reading code. It depresses me. But let's just see if we can get some idea of what's happening here. So you can see that it's basically building a form. And okay, so we've called this second modal body. So what we could call it is, let's just rename it, and we'll call it something like, let's call it temp form container. Now isn't that a little bit more descriptive? Okay, so again I'll do another comment. Build a form with some options for setting image properties. Now look at the beautiful comment. See how it's all becoming clearer? Alright, so you can see that we're building a form and it's doing its thing. And then I'm feeling a bit crazy. Let's just save and we'll see how we're doing so far. So if we click that, click properties. Now it's saying target L is not defined. So let's stay cool, keep on smiling, and see if we can find target L. Okay. I have no clue. I do know what's going on. Right, so the target element, right. This is horrible code. I must have got it from ChatGPT. But you can, okay, I don't think anybody reading understands this, and I don't understand it. But just look at what it does. It changes the value of something. to a margin value. So it must be reading the element. It must be reading the image. That's right. It must be reading the image. So the target element that this thing refers to is actually the image. Therefore, let's try a little experiment. Let's go up here. Doesn't really matter where. And we're going to just say const target L equals this. Now this may not work, but I'm going to say target L dot style dot background color is orange. I just want to see if the picture, in fact that won't even show up. Let's say target L dot style dot opacity, let's just go with like 0.2, something so that we can see if this is happening, right? So I'm clicking on this little beauty, clicking here. Now do you see how the opacity went? And did you see that? Look in the background. I'm going to hit properties, right? Now watch this picture here. Look, do you see how it fades out? That means that this is indeed the target element. So I reckon we can take this out here and then go like this, and look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Alright, now let's not crack open the champagne just yet, folks. I'll move this somewhere more appropriate so that it's near where this thing is. Okay, and we'll do a little comment here. Set the, now we're talking about this margin drop down here. It's not a drop down. Set the value of the margin input based on the current image state, something like that. I don't know. Image margin, there we go, something like that, right? So what are we doing? We are building a form, and all of this is just building a form basically. Now I think that's about it. All that remains is to just get these buttons working. So let's just go through. We've only got 3 buttons here. It shouldn't be too difficult. So if we hit back, well, that was a bit lucky. Now it did work, but let's just make absolute sure that we feel good about this. So it's FA, and what does it do? It runs this little beauty. So that was running this here, and what does that do? It looks for a thing called modal body temp. What on earth is that? Let me just try something, will ya? Console.log modal body temps.length return. Again, I just want to make sure that there's nothing mad happening. It says there's 1. Alright, so let's console.log modal body temps dot outer HTML, and we'll just see what on earth that thing is referring to. So here we go. Undefined. Oh, well, of course it's an array. So if we get the first instance of it, okay, that's cool. So what had happened was the following. Excuse me. Pardon me, folks. Right, okay. So we had built this, we had hidden the existing modal, but then we built a build some temp modal body content with a properties form. Let's just do that, right? I think that the theme of the day is comments, you know, good comments. So we're taking that modal body temp thing. That's what that's all about there. And we're saying, look, if you see one of those modal body temps, remove it. That's all that that's doing, right? So that's quite cool. Then it gets the original thing and it removes that hide element thing. So I am now 100% satisfied that this works. At least the back button works. Okay, so here we go. We're clicking properties all day long and it's fantastic. Okay, pretty cool. So the next one that we're going to do is the cancel button. We'll do the difficult one at the end, right? So this is saying that TGP close and destroy modal thing again. So we'll go back upstairs. Okay, now I'm slightly concerned about the cancel button. So let me do a little X after here. And this is just so I can find. Okay, now it's not this one. It could be this one. A little double X. Ah, there it is. So we know that that's the right button because of the cancel thing. So we're going to change that to say true. Okay. And that means that if we... Well, let's do this right. If we have an image in here, we can add it to the page. There it is, right? But if we hit cancel here, I think we're fine. Okay, that's good. That's good. So close, true, perfect. Okay, so I'm now happy with the back button and I'm happy with the cancel button. The next thing we're going to do, which is the tricky part, is apply changes. Now let's move upstairs. We'll have a wee look at the code and try our best not to read it, but maybe get some idea of what it's doing. So you can see we've got a submit button. It says apply changes. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised because we don't have anything on this. For example, if I go align right, margin, and apply changes, nothing whatsoever happens. Now let me look at my prototype one. Nothing happens here either. Okay, so we are going to have to do some real coding. That's right. We're going to do some real coding. So let's do this. We're going to say submit button dot add event listener. We're going to listen out for a click. I like to take this event object even if I'm not going to do anything with it. And then I'm going to say TGP apply IMG properties. And let's pass in. Do you remember how we had a target element? Let's pass in the target element. There you go. Okay. Alright. Now we'll head downstairs. Or actually, we could have it right here next door. They can be happy little next door neighbours. That's right. I'm going all Bob Ross on you today, don't you know? Happy little neighbours. Applying the vibe to the vibe. We're going to save. We're going to refresh. Don't forget to smile, because we are most definitely part of the winning team here. And look at this. We are applying the vibe to the vibe. Excellent. So now what we're going to... Some of you may... And it's Ahoy to Chris, by the way. Some of you may find this last conversation that I had interesting. I'll just show you the conversation. I'm not going to say anything. And you only get to see it for half a minute. So here we go. You ready? There shall be no comment. But have a read at that. All right. So, well, you can see the vibe, right? It's an idea for a business I've had, and I've actually had messages from people who have Laravel sites. I'm not talking about developers, I mean owners. And they're just tired of all the rewrites, and they're tired of being charged for framework updates, and they're tired of over engineering. They're tired of all of that stuff. And yeah, they're basically just tired of the whole thing, and they want to break free. One of them said, who may be watching actually, hello if you're here. He knows who he is. But one of them said the phrase of the week. He said he felt as if he was being held hostage. Now, in fairness, I don't know if he's got a Laravel site now, but he had a Laravel developer. Anyway, whatever the case may be, I have had now 2 messages this week from different website owners who have told me that they cannot handle all of the framework updates with Laravel. They cannot handle the over engineering, and they just feel as if they're trapped, you know. So I'm thinking about starting up a business that specializes, as I said here, it specializes in removing Laravel. Somebody says to me, they're going to come after you, you can't do that. Well, I don't know. It might never see the light of day. But look out, you know, because here comes Mark Knopfler. Not Mark Knopfler, pardon me. What a strange name. Anyway, he has some words of wisdom for us. And he says, alright, we have Chris. Mark Knopfler's here saying, comments. Yeah, all these self-appointed experts. It's a cult. I don't do cults. I love it. I love the energy. Thank you, man. Thank you. I use comments to explain the why, not the what. The code should explain the what, but someone reading the code wants to know why. Well, you know, there's no right and wrong answers. Whatever you do is what you do, and I would never... I mean, I have this crazy belief that you listening, I actually think that you're the greatest developer on the planet. And if something inside is telling you that this is the way, it's probably right, you know? And listen to that. Where I differ is I do say the why. I do, because it helps with focus. And this is where I think I've got a disagreement with the likes of Uncle Martin or whatever he's called. I see Steph Mischuk's calling himself Uncle Steph. So there you go, just what we all needed in life, another uncle. Anyway, another uncle of web development. Yeah, the whole thing, the code should explain the what. Well, I'm not messing with that. That's intelligent and it's beautiful and it makes perfect sense. I'm not gonna have a tone of smuggery. I invented that word. All I can tell you is that for me, even comments that are obvious are helpful because they help me to focus, you know? Anyway, do what makes you feel good as always and listen to your inner genius. So, we are going to be calling upon the Employee of the Month here. And I'm gonna copy this out of HTML and we're gonna ask a question. Question goes like this. I have a web page with the following form. By the way, can I just say, do you see how I'm doing 4 spaces, 3 dashes and 4 spaces? I saw one of the people from ChatGPT doing that when they were doing a demo. So that's why I'm doing that, you know. I also have an image element represented in JavaScript by the name target element. Can you give me a JavaScript function that accepts one argument and the form? Okay, that accepts 2 arguments. The target element and the form. The JavaScript function should read the values from the form No, it should do the following. 1. Read the values from the form. 2. Find the closest parent element with a class of text div. Give the closest parent element with a class of text div a name of parent container. Apply any alignment rules expressed in the form to the parent element via style rules to be applied by JavaScript. 5. Apply any other rules expressed in the form to the target element, i.e. the image. Alright, that's quite a big ask, but let's see how it gets on. Okay, so you can see that we've got these things here. Some value. I don't think it's done a great job here. Do you know, I'm going to show you something. That's not a great answer in my opinion, but watch this, right? We're going to take a little trip to Perplexity AI. Now, there's actually a couple of these that have come out lately. And to my astonishment, they give better answers than ChatGPT. Let me prove it. Now, if you look at that, that is considerably, pardon me, my watches are all bleeping. That is considerably better. So I'm going to go like this. And we're going to call this one TGP apply. We'll give it the same name. We are going to accept the target element. The only thing is, we're not going to accept the form. Instead, we're going to say const form is document get element by ID TGP IMG properties form. So there's an ID. Now let's go upstairs. Here's our form, right? So let's just say form set attribute ID is that. So we've now given our form an ID. So back down to our little function here. We're taking in a target element. And I just realized something. Well, we'll keep it. Let me think. Now we'll keep it as we are. So what it's doing is it's reading the values from the form. We're getting the closest parent element. We're doing a little bit of aligning. And then we're applying the margin to the target element. Now let's just give this a try. It might work, it might not work, but let's try it anyway. So I'm going to click here, properties, and I'm just going to align right. I'm going to say that the margin is 1 and apply. Okay, so something happened. Now, let's slow down. We'll say parent container, style, background color. We'll give it a hideous pink color. So I just want to okay, let me add a picture right here. We're going to save. Okay, excellent. Now let's look at the source code. Aha, now that's interesting, right? Because as you can see, it has added the image within a div, and I think that that's a mistake. I don't think it should do that. I really don't. So let's try something a little bit interesting. I'll clear the decks. Add a little paragraph. And my smug tutorial voice has arrived. How are you doing, smug tutorial voice? I haven't heard you in a while. Okay. Well, as I was saying, when we go like this and we add to page. Now, let's have a wee look at add to page, right? Okay. Now I'm going to just try something. I'm going to say X add to page. and I'm gonna go like this. Okay, do you see how that's got a little X add to page? That tells me that we're in the right place. Now if I go here, and we've got it here as well, so that's fantastic. Now let's have a close look at this thing. It's our add to page button thing, and when we're clicking on it, okay, so do you see how this is saying TGP intercept page element, right? So basically what it's doing is, when we add an image normally, I'll just show you. So when I add an image, I've not clicked into anything. By default, it's going to chuck it to the bottom of the page. Like that, right? And as we look at the source code, it's chucking the image inside a little text div, and that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with it. But when we add in here, you can see we've got the highlighted element in the background, and this time when we add to page, it says, well, where do you want it? And the reason why it's doing that is because we've clicked inside an element, it's reading that we've got this highlight thing in the background, and it's saying, look, where do you want to add the thing? So we could say top of page, for example, and there it is at the top of the page, right? Now, what we're going to do is, let's take a closer look at this thing. So this is saying inside the selected element. I'm going to search for that. Okay, so there it is right there. Now, question is, on click, there you go, it's running choose image location. Let's look for that. Okay, so it's on image manager. Here you go. I don't like the way that it's called choose image location. I want all of the function names to follow this convention that we've got. So instead of choose image location, it's going to be TGP choose image location. There we go. Replacing. Save, close, save, close. So let's now search for this. Okay, now that's it. Okay, so it's this little beauty here. So what's it doing? As you can see, it's given us this destroy image modal add image thing here. So let's see if we can find this thing. Okay, it's on 599. So here it is here. So it's clearing the modal body. It's clearing the footer, it's adding a big tick, it's unhighlighting the thing, and then it's saying TGP insert image. So that's giving us a delay time, and it's giving us this div, image div, as you can see. Now the thing is, we may not necessarily want that to happen. let me show you what I mean. I'm going to console.log super cool. Whoops. And I'm going to hit return. Now, if we refresh, keep an eye on the console. I'm going to go like this, add an image. And I'm going to click add to page. Now you can see that it says super cool, right? I've stopped it obviously. Now if you look in the background, nothing is highlighted. That means that we can add this thing to the bottom of the page or whatever, right? Now, right, so let's look at, and incidentally, let me just show you the other side of the coin. If we go like that, insert image here. Now I'm going to go add to page. Now again it says super cool, but do you see how this is highlighted? This is really important for us. So, let me go to the bit that says super cool again. Take this out. And I want to just take a little moment to explore what these different options mean. For example, if we go like this, and let's say we add to the top of the page, from a source code perspective, you can see that it's created a little div and it's chucked an image in the div. I'm happy with that, right? Now let's go through all of these things here. Second option is if we add to page and then we say before the selected element. So what does it do? Well, you look at the source code, once again we've got a text div, chucks the image in the div, and everything is fantasticola. Okay, now moving on. If we go inside the area and we add an image this time, you can see if we look at the source code that again it's given as a text div and it's adding an image. Now I don't like that. I do not want that to happen, so that's an issue for me. But just to make sure that all is well in the land of the living, we'll make sure the other two options are good. So quite happy to have a text div there. And of course, quite happy to have one there as well. There you go. So what we've basically said is that everything is cool in the gang unless we add an image inside one of those elements, like inside the selected element, right? So what we're going to do then is the following. Right, do you see how we've got this TGP insert image thing? Let's find that, right? In fact, here it is right here. Okay, so we're going to go to this TGP insert element. Now check this out, because my genius knows no limits, as ye shall see. If only. Anyway, you can see that we've got this new element that gets accepted. But you can see that we've got a thing called target new L location, which is part of this Trongate pages object thing. Now check this out. Can you see how we've got a thing that says inside selected? Alright, so if we're adding onto the thing, what we want to do then is this. Give me a minute. I'm going to just ask the employee of the month here. Okay. I have the following element represented in JavaScript as new element. Is that its name? Yeah, that's it. Can you give me some JavaScript that extracts the image from within this element and assigns the image with a property or variable name of new img? I know how to do it. It's .children 0. Oh well, fair enough. We can do it this way. Right, so check this out. So this is going to be new img. Okay, so do you see what we've done? I'll just write a comment. Extract the image from within the image container div. So let me just show you what just happened there. It's all a little bit intense, but I think it was good, you know. So if I'm inserting an image like this inside the element, right? Now I'm going to view the source code. And if you look, that image has been chucked right into the page without the surrounding div. And that, my friends, is absolutely perfect. Okay. Now, let's see if we can change the alignment. I'm going to say right margin 1 and then apply changes. Here we go. Ah, okay, so the background just went pink, right? Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Now you know why I do these crazy colours when I'm doing this stuff. It helps me to find it easily. So we're saying pink, right? Now I'll just take that return statement out and we'll quickly give this another try. So here's our image being added. We're going to add it inside the element. I'll hit save so I don't need to do that again. So every page has now got this. If we click properties, I'll say that the margin size is 1. I'll say that the unit is pixels and I'll align to the right. Here we go. Now why, oh why did that not work? Ah, okay. Right, that's cool. When you're using what you see is what you get editor, and you select an image, then give the image an align value of right, what actually happens from an HTML CSS perspective? okay, so we did it wrong, but the general concept is good. Therefore, I don't know if you saw what just happened there. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to comment this out. Okay, now I'm going to say target element dot style dot float equals a line. Alright, here we go again. So there's our image. Properties. Let's just go like that. Chuck a little 0 in here. Apply changes. And look at that. We sent it to the right hand side. You can pretty much see that there. Do you see that? It's fantasticola. Right, now that's excellent. That is really, really excellent. The only thing that concerns me now is the form. So when we refresh the page here, do you see how I'm clicking this and it says enter margin size and this is empty, right? Well, I'm not entirely sure if I'm into that, you know? So instead of having this empty option, I'm going to just say 0. That means that when this thing appears, okay, oh you miserable thing, you. Now why is that? Margin input dot style dot background color. I'll make this lime. Okay. Now let's say margin input dot value. I'll just make it like the number 3. Okay. Now let's console.log. The value is, and we'll just say margin input dot value. Keeping an eye on the console. Okay. So I'm going to ask the employee of the month, can you modify the following code to Oh, I see. Okay, hang on. I have a form field represented by that. Can you give me some JavaScript that guarantees that the form field will always have a numeric value? In other words, if the form field is empty, or if the form field has a non-numeric value, the value of the form field should be set to 0. You know, that's a lot of code. I'm going to show you something. Watch how Perplexity does this better and with less code. Watch. So it's not doing an if statement. Okay, so if not a number, then that. Can you refine this so that instead of checking for a number, it's checking for a positive integer? A little bit of refinement, a little bit of refinement. Okay, so it's going to say parse int this time, and if it's blah 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 blah, then the margin value gets set to 0. Now if we refresh this form here, it means that when this comes up, you can see that we've always now got a margin of 0 here. And I think that that is excellent. So if we now say, let's have a margin right of, let's say, a margin of 6 pixels, let's say. And if we say, let's apply right, and then we go like that, you can see that our picture has moved to the right hand side, which is really, really great. And so now we're going to just close this thing, you know, which we can do like this. So here we go. Check it out. We're clicking. Now look at OG. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay. Now, do you see this cancel button here? I'm going to copy that. I was on the wrong function, by the way. But it's okay. It's basically like that. So this is now going to work. We're clicking. We're going to say properties. Now I'm going to align right. I'll give it a margin of 7 pixels. I'm going to apply changes. And there we go. Now let's look at the source code and just see what that has actually done. So you can see that we've got style is right, or float right, then we've got margin 7 pixels. And it's not too bad, you know, it's not too bad. However, I think that there are a couple of little challenges that we should be aware of here. A few refinements, you know, and I'll show you what I mean. If I go like that, and I say that the margin is 3M and apply changes. Can you see how we've got this space here? You can also see that we've got this problem as well. Now, hang on a minute. I have an image inside a div. When a div that contains some text. When I apply float right to the image, it runs off of the bottom of the container div. Is there a way to fix this so that the image is always inside the container div even when float right is applied? I don't think there is. Yes, there are a few ways. One way is to use the overflow thing on the container div. Another way is to use the clear property. So we say clear both. Again, you can adjust and blah 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 blah. Alright. So let's try the overflow thing. Parent container dot style dot overflow is hidden. So we're going to go like this. Ah, now that did work. That actually worked. Who would have thought? Alright, let's just see. What are the pros and cons of each technique? Okay, overflow hidden. Simple, easy to understand, doesn't require any additional CSS. It works well for containers with fixed heights. It can clip the content that overflows, which may not be desirable. It can cause horizontal scrolling. It doesn't work well for containers with variable heights. Alright, it seems to be saying that the clear both is a good way to go. Could you show me how to apply via JavaScript? Okay, so we're going to try this method then. So we're saying parent container dot style dot clear equals both. Might as well have a crazy new color. And here we go. So click, clickety click, align right, apply changes. Now that did not work. And I can't really... I wonder why that was. They've said display as table, you know. Nah, I think we'll stick with this method. That's going to be your whack. Okay, so here we go again. So we click, we're going to say properties. Let's go align right, apply changes. There it is right there. Okay. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. But, okay, Google, stop. Pardon me, folks. I hope I'm not switching your machines off there. We have a couple of friendly faces in the place today, don't you know? Tony says, need to go out, check back soon. Alright, well, no worries, Tony. It's always good to see you, and thanks for passing by. Okay, so what we got now? What have we got now? Right. Now let's think about this. If we align left, then ironically, we want the margin to be applied everywhere except the left. If we align right, we want the margin to apply everywhere except right. So let's see if we can figure this out. When I align left, I want the margin to be applied everywhere except on the left hand side. When I apply right, I want the margin to be applied everywhere except on the right hand side. As things stand, hang on a minute. Have a general margin setter with the following code. Can you refine this for me? If it understands that, I'll be amazed. Well, look at that. It nailed it first time. Okay, so let me copy this. And we're going like this. That's really, really great. Really, really great. So this is going to be target element. Now, what it's doing, if you think of a clock face, you start at 12, right? And you've got 4 units here. So it's saying that if it's left, it's actually made a mistake. Because if the margin, we know how to do this. Think about a clock face. You start at 12 o'clock, right? So that margin is whatever's set. Then you go to the right hand side, and again, I'll just do it right here. That is whatever we get. When we go down, it's the same story, but when we go left, it's 0. That's how we do it, folks. Now think about the right hand side, clock face, right? So the top part, it's always like that. As we go to the right hand side, that's going to be 0. Then we go down, then we go left. And that, my friends, is the way that this is done. So watch this and I'll show you what I mean, because this is going to look great now. I'm going to click in here, properties. Now we'll do a big giant margin, like that big, and we'll make it pixels. And then I'll align it to the right hand side. Okay, so check this. And you see how we've got it going hard to the right hand side. We've got a margin top, margin bottom, which is perfect. But we're hard up against the edge, which is exactly what I wanted. Now if we do the same again here. This time we'll go left. We'll have a big old margin. Pixels. Apply changes. Same again. And it works really, really nicely. Also, you'll notice that when we clicked on it, it brought up our pre-existing details for the image. Folks, this is excellent. This is an absolute win for Team Drongate. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. I'm loving it. I'm really loving that. So, what else can we say? Yeah, I think that's it. I do think that that's it. I think we've got it. I think that that's a really, really nice feature. And I'll tell you something, building that was not entirely the most easy thing I've ever done. But I think we've got it. So let's have a quick look at how this thing works. And then that will be the end of the live stream. So of course, we can go into a page. Now I'll just clear all of the content here. And we'll save it. And how about if we close this as well? Let's have the true experience here. So we can go a headline, a little bit of text. Let's have another headline, another little bit of text, another headline, and another bit of text, and we'll save it. So now I'm going to add an image to this second paragraph here. I want it right in the middle of this thing. In fact, you know what? Let's add some more content onto this. We'll have a little list. Maybe a bit more text. Okay, so adding in a bunch of little, it's basically just test content, right? So there it is, no big deal, and save. Now by the way, I've built this feature, check this, if I click and move my hand away, and it waits 3 seconds, you miserable swipe, oh it did, did you see how it removed the toolbar? Look, again, when there's no activity, the toolbar automatically removes. Isn't that a beautiful feature? So here we go. We are going to add a picture, probably up here. So we click that, and it's going to be this picture here. Look at the beautiful image adder. Add properties. We're going to go inside the element. There it is. Now that looks hideous. So we click on this. We say properties, and I'm going to say align right. I'm going to give it a little margin of 1m's fine. Apply changes. And just look at that. Ha 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 ha. How do you like me now? How do you like me now, people? Of course, I'll get rid of the crazy background colour. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, let me do that again. So I'm going to click here. Go like that. So there it is. So we click onto it, we hit properties, and I'm going to align it to the right hand side. There it is. If I want to make the margin bigger, no problem. Oops. Close enough, right? So I think that's looking really great. I'm loving it. Pretty cool. Okay, so that is just about it. I think there's only one change that I'd like to do to this before we finish. And that is to fix the alignment of the buttons here. So when we click on something like this, these buttons are really nice. I like the alignment of these ones. And I suppose now look at that. See, that's not too good, right? That looks very rubbish actually. So maybe that needs a bit of work. Now let me go back. And it never even added it. Okay. So these look okay. Now when we hit properties, that's alright. But when we hit code, that is not alright. Okay, so these buttons here, I'm just gonna hard code something in. It will be very amateurish, but it will be kind of acceptable, hopefully. So here's our image manager, and okay, so we've got this showcase image div thing. I'm going to give it an opacity of 0.1 or 0.2. You'll see why in a minute. Oh, now that's saying style is opacity of 1. Interesting. Alright. So, back over here. Now we're going to get our... Here we go. Right, do you see how we've got a paragraph here? So I'm going to say P style margin top is 1M. So I'm going to try and create a little bit of daylight. That's it. That's perfect. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, so the final touch we'll get rid of some console.logs. Yeah, I'm just getting rid of a few console.logs. It's no big deal. Okay, so here we go. So adding an image into the area, there it goes. And then I can hit properties. I can align left, for example. There it is. Now, we can also align right. And everything is just perfect. So that's going to do us. That is the end of this live stream. I'll do a commit here. Get add all. Get commit. Image properties builder form now working. Pretty cool. So we're not too far from having this thing launched. We've got our dividers working. We've got our buttons working, so you can add buttons like this. Now I'm going to do a bit of work with some button toolbars and stuff. Same goes with YouTube videos. Oh, well, I need to do that one. I'm just doing a refactor basically. But I think I can nail those in a couple of days tops. And then we've got our preferences working. We've got this page here working. And all that really remains is to get this all looking good on a mobile device. And as soon as we've done that, we've got our API Explorer working. I mean, can you believe somebody actually did a podcast and said the only reason Tron-Gate is fast is because it's got no features? Can you believe the nerve? Anyway, forgive me if I'm focusing on the negative. It's not easy though, you know, when you've got stuff like that happening. I mean, I'm not aware of any framework that gives you anything like this. Is there? There might be if it's doing all third-party libraries nonsense. But I think that we're looking quite good here. We've got our code view thing. We've got our... Oh, I need to get the delete thing working. Alright, but we're in pretty good shape. Don't forget that we can also change the position of the toolbars. And that gets remembered. You know what I mean? So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thank you very much, Giro. And thank you for watching. It has... it's been a quick one today. But I do hope that you have enjoyed this and got something from it. You know, the start of this stream was a bit dull because I was running into all sorts of errors, as you saw, and I was a wee bit lost. But you watch the video back and you'll notice that the turning point was when I had an expectation of success. I looked up to the left and I smiled, and I looked up to the right and I smiled. I'm resetting my brain when I do this, you know. And we might as well believe in something crazy. So that's what I'm going to go with. Thanks once again for passing by. I'm probably going to come on again tomorrow. Maybe, but certainly on Monday, assuming nothing catastrophic happens. We have to say that these days, right? But have a great weekend, folks. Have a great Saturday or whatever it is, whenever it is, wherever you are. Have a good weekend.